Hello, good afternoon. My name is Paul, and welcome to the Bengals UK online tailgate. It's week 3, as you can see by the streaming banner, FTS, which obviously stands for Fun Time Sunday. Nothing else on this podcast. It is I was almost said Squealers, but the Steelers week. Obviously, it's might be not that big for Pittsburgh fans, but it's big for Bengals fans as we try to get one over our arch rivals and idiots from Pittsburgh. And joining me today is Jamie Rowe. Hello, Jamie.
Hello, get into him.
And Peter Dadswell. Hello, Pete.
Afternoon. You all right?
Yeah, pretty good. How are we doing here? And what's the crack for today? I think we might have a chance, don't you?
It's in the DNA. You don't want to back yourself, and history shows that we can't back ourselves against the Steelers. But this is not the same Steelers that we've experienced in a long, long time, and it is a little bit unnerving that all of a sudden you think we might have a squeak here of pulling off an upset and going 2-1.
Well, that's quite positive, Jamie. You look quite surprised there at Pete's rampant optimism there.
Yeah, I have a quiet optimism. I think we're of a roughly similar standard to Pittsburgh. You know, anything could happen. There's a lot of injuries both sides, so we'll see how that impacts. I think TJ Watt being out is a huge blow for them, and it'll be a case of whether they can engineer pressure up the middle from a front three rather than a sort of more traditional front four rush.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie, have you got any team news? Because it's been
We certainly do, yeah.
We've heard today that T. Higgins is not playing. Anybody else? Anything else that we should know about?
Yeah. So we've got the inactives through. So T. Higgins is obviously the headline there. The Bengals going in with 2 wide receivers. I'll make the point now that they would have been going in with 1 wide receiver had they not drafted Jamar Chase 5th overall in the summer. Because, Penasiel doesn't do that. So we've got
Chase.
That's it. So we got Higgins out. Xavier Suafilo is also out. He was having late fitness tests on the Heinz Field turf, but he is out. So it looks like Jackson Carman will be starting for the Bengals offensive line. Trey Waynes is out, which I think we all knew. Yeah. He'll be another week away. Mate, I don't buy into this talk that he's one of the worst free agency acquisitions ever. We need to see him play, and he will be playing pretty soon. Nick McLeod, Fred Johnson, and Tyler Shelvin are the other boys. And again, it's two big men, but not as many big men as usual on the inactive list.
Yeah, it's interesting that talk about Trey Waynes, isn't it? I think he's been practicing this week, and I think perhaps this Sunday just came around a little bit too soon for him. And of course, we've got a short turnaround because we've got a game on Thursday night. So it seems to me quite sensible. If he's not quite ready this week, he should be, fingers crossed, ready for Thursday. And it'd be good to see him on the field. And like Jamie says, I mean, if someone gets injured, then they can't help it, can they, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think as Dave Lapham said, especially with the type of injury he's had, when you think you are just about close on 100%, take an extra week. Take an extra week, because otherwise you'll tweak it. And as you rightly said there, Paul, it's a short week. So it would have been a tough ask to ask him going into this pressure game at the Squealers and then at home in what's going to be a very big emotional game against the Jags.
Absolutely. Let's just bring this one in, shall we, just to kind of whet our appetite.
When was that?
There we go. I mean, it has to be done, really. One of the great all-time Bengals Steelers moments throughout history. And it happened last year, which was really good, I think.
Do you know what annoyed me about that, though, Paul?
What's that?
Is that the extra men that the Steelers usually have, the refs, blew the ball dead, thereby stopping a potential running back for 6. And it was only on review that the fumble was allowed. I just felt robbed. I can't remember what was the end of the drive afterwards, but it just seemed we were robbed by the officials.
Yeah, I mean, I just revel in the hit, really, to be honest with you. It was magnificent, and especially because it was that dancing fool in the middle of the game in a quite an interesting victory, actually, unexpected victory. Let's hope they've sort of taken notes and they figure out how to beat the Steelers. And Ceiling Cat says, "Hooday from Ohio." Hello, Ceiling Cat.
Hooday, Ceiling Cat.
The UK.
It's good to see 15-year-old memes doing the rounds with Ceiling Cat.
Yeah. We've got our old friend Jess here. Jess is on call. Well, she's working as a nurse, and if we were in America, we'd say something like, "We thank you for what you do." What an amazing job Jess and her colleagues do over there. And when, of course, we like seeing how you're preparing for the game. Jess may be at work this afternoon, still styling it out there with a Bengals t-shirt under her smocks. But yeah, we've got all sorts lined up for you today, as per usual. We've got Moz's beer reviews, that's coming up very soon. We've got some live music direct from Cincinnati in around 20 minutes time. We've got Adam's fantasy recommendations. So once again, it's a packed show. Big Ben. Once again, he was on the injury report, and no surprise to anybody there, because he does that pretty much every game, really. But he seems to be getting the ball out very quickly this year. He's not really kind of a pocket sort of guy. He doesn't have the pace or the athleticism he once did. Is this really, I mean, I was going to say, is this the best time to play Pittsburgh? They can't get their run game going. They've got offensive line problems. In fact, they mirror the Bengals in many ways.
Yes.
But I'm still a bit wary about saying, hey, this is a great time to play the Steelers. But just because historically, every time we do that, everyone says this is a barometer, a measuring stick game. We can finally see where we are as a team. We always lose. And after last week's quite poor offensive performance, I'm a little bit wary about this kind of, it's a great time to play the Steelers. Maybe, as Pete said earlier, it's in my DNA, this kind of fatalist stuff in my DNA. I don't know. How are you guys feeling about that?
I mean, just from an objective view, yes, it must be. Their O-line was poor last year, and they couldn't run it, and they've lost their three stalwarts on that O-line. They've had to build a whole new O-line, and they've got no better. They drafted a running back because they just couldn't run the ball, and they are last in rushing already this season. Yes, small sample size. Big Ben is a tree back there. He never moves. And now we've got a D-line and edge that are getting to quarterbacks. We've got a secondary that can stand up now. If he does throw it, yes, objectively, this is a great time to play them. Whether or not we can actually execute, well, that's the key.
Is that the big difference this year, chaps? You think it's our defense can be? I know it's a small sample size, but it's our defense that can be relied upon to stop the run. Najee Harris hasn't materialized just yet, and it always seems to be against the Bengals where people have breakout games. You know what I mean? And I'm really hoping that doesn't happen today. But what about you, Jamie? Is there a good and a bad time to play Pittsburgh?
I'm well in favour of getting it out of the way early in the season. I think when it's late in the season, it starts to overshadow things as much as we have had previous success going in there late in the year and needing a win, and we've actually come away with things. I don't like rivalry games. I don't like rivalry games in many sports, and this one in particular. It's always a bit too full on for me. Objectively looking at it, I think our defensive line can cause them an awful lot of problems, particularly up the middle, particularly against their guards, who I don't rate, but they will be thinking the same. And I'm just wondering, maybe the only difference is the fact that we have a 4-man front, they have a 3-man front, and honestly, I don't rate their linebackers right now. They've got Devin Bush, they've got nobody else. TJ Watt's out. I don't think they have the ability to consistently generate pass rush, however bad our O-line is. And to be honest, if we're looking at Jackson Carman coming in at guard, he is a rookie. It's a bit of a gamble because it's his first NFL game, but he graded well during pre-season. He was excellent for Clemson last year and the year before that, albeit as a tackle. I think that's an upgrade possibly over Xavier Su'a-Filo, and I thought Su'a-Filo was going to be good this year. He hasn't really sort of panned out. So maybe this is a time to get them and really get into them and really mess them up.
Jackson Carman is an interesting one, as you say, Jamie, isn't it? Now, I think everyone's a bit nervous because of the start that he made in training camp, or at least the reports that we were hearing out of training camp, that he wasn't ready yet. And yet he did reasonably well in pre-season. And Peter, I mean, it's what a baptism of fire for the young man today.
It is, but I don't think physically he's got a problem at all. It's just mentally whether he is ready for the more complex twists and stunts that you see from D lines. But if I said to you, who are the Steelers' best players, you would have said TJ Watt and probably Minkah Fitzpatrick, the latter who's graded as the worst safety so far this season, PFF. But with TJ Watt being out, that's a game changer. I mean, that is so. We saw that Su'a-Filo had a real problem with stunts by Mack against the Bears last week, and TJ Watt would have feasted on that. So Carman's got to be aware of that. But having no TJ Watt there is a huge game changer, I think.
Yeah. I just hope we all get behind Jackson Carman today, because there will be some reps that are a bit tough for him, I think. Yeah. There might even be some false starts. But let's get behind the guy. And it's also worth mentioning that Deante Smith is active for the first time this season. I thought out of all the rookies, weirdly, I thought he looked absolutely tremendous in pre-season. And anyway, let's see what else we've got. We've got Jerry there. Hold on a second. In bikini and drinking a beer. Now, we can't do that over here in the UK. I think Jerry is in.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past Mad Stew or McDowell.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Jerry looking very summery there. Of course, Florida, that is kind of de rigueur in Florida. Over here, it's what you're seeing. Whereas at the moment, although it is a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day for football, as they say. I think it's the last day of the Indian summer. I think that's the phrase. But Andrew Knott says, hard to fully trust this team. We've lost so many games in the Zach era that it's hard to know what team will turn up. I think our defense will keep us in it, and it might need Evan McPherson to keep the scoreboard ticking over. Who day? Yeah, I think that this is the crucial thing. The offense didn't turn up last week. The offensive coaches and the game plan didn't turn up last week. So it's kind of crucial that they've got to have their game plan right. So will we see much more empty set? Joe Burrow came out and said he enjoys playing in empty.
Well, that's a point. That's a point, Paul, I wanted to make. Yes, there's been a lot of talk about that in Cincinnati this week, and we have to bear that in mind when considering that O-line, that they are often in empty sets. I suspect that we'll play, we'll try and establish the run, and we'll play the short ball again, just like we did against the Bears. But hopefully they'll open up with a longer ball much earlier than they did against the Bears. And when we see how the secondary of the Steelers got torched by the Raiders and Ruggs, I think they will be extremely wary of that. So if they defend the short ball earnestly like the Bears did, we need to see Burrow tossing it long and tossing it long very, very quickly, because we've already seen that Jamar Chase connecting on the long ball, which is something we never had last season. Again, something that Penny Sewell would never have done.
Yeah, he had those Jamar Chase targets downfield. He's been targeted 4 times downfield this season.
Yeah.
He's caught 2 of them for touchdowns. The other 2, he got open and Burrow just missed him. So he is doing the business downfield. We need to see more of that. If we're getting that 2 times a game, it's lovely.
Yeah.
He is doing the business on that. But that's something that can really revolutionise this offense.
Yeah.
We could potentially have that kind of Chad Ochocinco thing where we've got a guy who can routinely get open 40 yards downfield, and you just lean into that. That's who we would need to be at that point. None of this messing about with running on 2nd and 7 like it's 1996. We need to get with the modern NFL. We need to recognise that we have an elite wide receiver, an elite quarterback, and that's our identity now.
But last season, defensive coordinators knew the Bengals were never going to chuck it long. So they defended the short ball, and it was nickel and diming it all the way down the field, it seemed like. Now they've seen in 2 games, as you said, Chase has got free on 4 occasions, and we've connected twice. He's a rookie, and he's had long touchdowns in each of his first 2 games. They've got to prepare for that. They've got to be ready for that. And we've got to continue to keep showing them that we've got this in our arsenal, and we're going to continue to use it.
Yes, and with T. Higgins out today, of course, Auden Tate comes into play, and I'm excited to see Auden play because every time he plays, he tends to catch something miraculous. So let's hope he can get some separation as well, along with the amazing catches. Right, Joe Burrow is walked into Heinz Field wearing these.
Sick.
Yeah, I'm not sick in a like a rad, cool kind of sense, or sick as in like vomit sort of way.
Cowabunga, man, cowabunga.
I think he also had a SpongeBob a handkerchief in his jacket pocket as well. He had the full ensemble, I think.
If you were to incorporate a cartoon character into your dress sense, which one would it be?
Oh, good grief. Penfold from Danger Mouse.
Yes, there you go.
I think I'll go Captain Caveman. It's got to be Captain Caveman. Or Hong Kong Fury. What am I saying? It's Hong Kong Fury. It's got to be Hong Kong Fury. I love Hong Kong Fury. For all you people out there who don't know Hong Kong Fury it was a cartoon character from the 1920s, I think. Right. Let's bring in some more people to talk to. Every week we have Moz coming in to give us his beer recommendation. So here is Moz's beer recommendations for this week. Oh, God, I've got to press play. I keep forgetting that.
Sorry, there's technical difficulties.
I was hoping to do a video overlooking the front of Scarborough. Sadly, audio issues kiboshed that, like the Giant Causeway one I did last year. It was just horrific, just windy as hell. It wasn't too bad. It's still difficult to hear. Oh well, back here in front of this flag again. And the 2 beers I recommend. The first one is from Overtone. It's called Wee Westy. It's a West Coast IPA. So it's more of a classic West Coast IPA, but there's nothing too different really. So you can expect like citrusy, resinous, bitter but clean finish. It's not a style I drink a lot of personally, for my palate. But I know people who do like bitter beers and stuff, and I should be recommending more, to be honest. It's on my part, really, my palate. But yeah, I will recommend more in the future if you like the West Coast stuff and like the bitter stuff. So yeah, it's a decent one, 5.5%, so it's nothing too strong or heavy. The second drink I recommend is Lily's Rhubarb Cider. I'm not sure where they're based from. But again, quite popular these days, they're quite nationwide. It's only 4%. You can even get them in bottle form. I think you can get them in cans. But my personal preference is a 5-litre box. It's something that's being 4%. You can drink it all days. It's not strong, but it just tastes delicious, like rhubarb and cream. That's my 2 flavours again. It's delicious, There's nothing that sounds much better, really, in my opinion. It's another one I could recommend. It's actually Lily's Mango. And this could be the official drink of Rhubarb UK. I was on a recent trip to Blackpool. It was half of Lily's Mango and half of Rattler, the cider. Just half and a half, and it's called Jungle Juice, and it was bloody nice. It was really nice. It was 385. It was really tasting. I'm game for it. Official drink. Go for it. Hopefully, you have a good Sunday. Hopefully, we get a win. God bless TJ Watt's not available because he's a beast and a fantastic player. So I'm glad he's missing. Hopefully, offense play better. Hopefully, defense keep it up. Hopefully, Trey Waynes does make a lot of improvements over having Eli Apple. I feel quite bad for, to be honest. He shouldn't really be out there. It should be Trey Waynes, but injuries happen and things happen. So yeah, let's hope and pray to get a win. Maybe we will. I'll be nice on it every day.
Oh, it would be nice.
Well, it would be nice. And many thanks to Moz there for giving us the weather rundown in Scarborough there.
It is windy up the East Coast.
Yeah,
it is.
That is a typical thing.
It is lovely up there as well. I'm a big fan of Whitby myself. But,
yes. Filey.
Yeah.
Good chippies.
Yeah.
Good chippies.
Yeah, yes.
Big seagulls.
Oh, yeah. Fish and chips up on the East Coast are just absolutely banging up there.
With the wind whipping in off the North Sea.
Oh yeah, your eyes get full of vinegar and salt and sand. It's fantastic.
Well,
What do you
reckon to rhubarb?
Yeah,
rhubarb cider.
See, I am a massive fan of rhubarb.
Me too.
I love rhubarb in anything.
Rhubarb crumble's the best.
Rhubarb crumble is fantastic.
Yes.
Rhubarb sweets are amazing.
Yeah.
And rhubarb juice mixed with a bit of vodka and some fizzy water, that is all right as well. I can tell you right now. But I know that rhubarb isn't for everyone. Jamie, you said no.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. It's not for me, certainly. It's horrible. Obviously, there's a cultural aspect of it. It's a very big thing in Yorkshire because it's grown there. My dad desperately tried to get me into having rhubarb. It is just vile, and I will not have it.
It's very good at cleaning your pans, Jamie. No. You burn a pan, get some rhubarb, and just boil the rhubarb in that pan, and it'll clean it up.
Well, there you go. What? Just like straight, chop rhubarb in there.
Chop some rhubarb, a little bit of water in it, and just leave it on the boil, and it will clean your pan. Imagine what it's doing. Imagine what it's doing to inside.
Yeah, God.
Viewers, where else do you get this kind of diversity of entertainment on any pre-game NFL show? Does like NFL pre-game on NFL Network do this? Does Rich Eisen talk about the cleaning power of rhubarb? I don't think so.
We want someone to come on next week. Yeah. Come on next week.
Something from the letters page of Take a Break.
I know, yeah, I know. Maybe we should incorporate the letters page of Take a Break at some point. Whatever name 3 says Kermit the Frog or animal to our question, which cartoon character would you incorporate into your everyday dress? It could be underpants, it could be socks, it could be sneakers, it could be pocket squares like Joe Boy over there. So yeah, it's a question that deserves to be answered. I think a lot of people around the world are asking that question about that. Now then, back to Pittsburgh today. One player that needs to have a good game.
you asking?
Oh, one play from us. Trey Hopkins needs to pull his finger out, basically.
Good shout.
I know he's coming off an injury, and that's a very difficult thing. He's having to adjust to the speed of the NFL again. But his play the first few weeks has been poor and hasn't been what we'd expect of him from previous years.
Yeah.
Pete, would you go along with that, or have you got?
I mean, that's a great shout. I'll go I'll go on the other side of the ball, and our linebackers. Logan Wilson's had a really good start to the season, but Jermaine Pratt's been good in the run game, and I think we need Jermaine Pratt to have a good game today. If they shut Najee Harris down, then they will be making. I mean, they toss the ball around a lot rather than run it at the moment anyway, but they will make it a lot harder for the Steelers to win if they shut Najee Harris down. So Jermaine Pratt to have another good game.
Indeed, and I agree with those. I'm drinking a beer from one called Angelo Poretti.
Nice.
And it's premium lager, but I don't think it is. I mean, they've just stuck a name on there, haven't they? Any old Italian name, and just marketed it as premium Italian lager. But it tastes pretty good, though. It's no Menabrea, but that's okay. I did say to you, we had a live musical guest last week, and we have a live musical guest this week. He's live and direct from Cincinnati. So let's welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Johnson. Nicholas, how you doing?
How's it going, fellas?
Big, not me. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Thanks for letting me join y'all this morning. It saves me from panic drinking all morning, so at least I get a break in there.
Nicholas, you've been good enough to come on our podcast a few times, but now we're ramping things up and getting you on live on video. So if viewers haven't met you before, tell us a bit about your musical history. And I know that you're recently back to Cincinnati, but from where? Tell us.
Well, it's a crazy story. I don't want to monopolize everybody's time, but it's started and kind of picked up weirdly. Speaking of Peretti in Italy, I had many of those, and it was a pretty big change of life. And then it's also right before COVID, we came back to Cincinnati, and that's, like I said, a month later the COVID bomb dropped, and so we were kind of the first industry to stop things and kind of the last industry to get things back up and running. But hopefully, thankfully, we're going up and running again. But yeah, it's a crazy story from the U.S. to Italy, where things kind of picked up. I did actually a little tour over in the UK and Ireland, and missed some of you guys, but I got to meet a lot of y'all too, so that was cool. And back to Cincinnati now, so just chilling over here for the moment.
Very sadly, you were playing a venue that was literally just up the road from where I live in Manchester, and I couldn't get time off work for it. So sadly, I had to miss out. But I would have
got back over there. You'll catch me next time, hopefully.
Yes.
Tell us about your music, Nicholas. What can we expect from you? What are you up to at the moment? I know that you've got a little band together. Tell us a little bit about where you are musically.
Well, I've got a couple of projects going on. So one, actually, I have a release coming out next month, and it was a COVID project with my buddy Rich, who's a fantastic producer, talented multi-instrumentalist, and it's called Backup State. And it's just starting as a little fun project, but it actually kind of took a life of its own, kind of took the place of a separate project that I do have going on as well. So I should have 2 releases coming out here pretty soon, but the very next one will be October 23rd. And then, but we do have a single coming out October 5th. So, and you'll be able to pre-order out the album from there. So, and then you can do that on nicholasjohnsonmusic.com, or you can do the socials at Nicholas Johnson Music. Obviously the same thing on Facebook, and you guys know where I'm at on Twitter. So.
Well, we will help you spread the word on that, my friend, and make sure all the Bengals fans in the UK know where to get your stuff. So you've very kindly agreed to do a few numbers for us today. Shall I just let you get on with it?
Whatever you'd like, man.
Okay, go for it, ladies and gentlemen. Nicholas Johnson.
Right on. If y'all have any sound, issues or anything, just let me know.
sunshine without the rain. Long slow silence, long kiss goodnight. We'll let the fire burn the ash till the morning light. Lights are burning, sun returns to the sea. With beats and burden, just ain't working for me. Anger is easy, so is the blame. We let the fire burn me down, turning shame. Deafening silence, long kiss goodbye. We let the fire turn here till the morning light. Lights are burning, sun returns to the sea. Red beers and bourbon just ain't working for me. Love comes easy, so does pain. Well, what good sunshine without a little rain?
Very good.
Great
stuff.
stuff, Nicholas. I think Pete's got a question for you.
Yeah, it wasn't about the music, but that was fantastic. I was trying to guess what number you got on your new stripes, your shirt.
I think you know.
There we
go. All right, yeah.
There we go.
Very good.
You know,
Nicholas, that was fantastic. Do you want to do another one?
Yeah.
Thing, absolutely.
Great, man.
I'm gonna try a little of this. If it's too loud, just like give me the hand signals.
Okay.
Check the levels. All right. This is a song called Shame, which is hopefully we don't feel after today's game.
Don't tempt fate, Nicholas. Come on now.
These things in my head, I watch them come alive. So slowly they swim, rise like the tide. Gonna take me right down to New Orleans, gonna play these songs down at Bourbon Street tonight. Just break, don't break. It's a shame. It's a shame. I had to lose my mind, find my soul in a strange, honey, I had to change. find my soul. These things I can't say, words that I can't find, just a feeling I can't shake. Like a desert, baby, I'm burning dry. Come take me right down to New Orleans, can play me some down to Bourbon Street, and I just pray don't rain. It's a shame, oh, it's a shame. I had to lose my mind, find my soul. And it's strange, honey, I had to change. I had to lose my mind, find my soul. Yeah. Take me around down to New Orleans, gonna play these songs down at Bourbon Street, and I just pray don't rain. It's a shame, it's a goddamn shame. I had to lose my mind, find my soul. And it's strange, honey, I can't change. I had to lose my mind, find my soul. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Lovely.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Nicholas
That's
Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, how about that? What a supremely talented man. And I hope you all appreciate Nicholas
God.
for coming on and playing us a few numbers. Nick, can you just repeat where people can find your stuff? Because it's brilliant.
Right on. Well, thank you so much. It's Nicholas Johnson Music. I know it's the most basic name in the world, but
There's a reason for that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So NicholasJohnsonMusic.com. You can also find me on the socials, Nicholas Johnson Music on Instagram, Nicholas Johnson Music on Facebook, and confusingly at Drums and a Guitar on Twitter. But also I got some cool swag. The Bengals fan in me. So there we go.
Wow.
Oh, lovely stuff.
Oh, there we go. So I have stickers, I have shirts, I do mail abroad, but if you find my merch on NicholasJohnsonMusic.com or NicholasJohnsonMusic.com, I can't mail from there. So just send me a DM if y'all want it over there overseas. So, and I can get it to you. It's no big deal. So,
Nicholas, you've helped us out in the past and you've helped us out again. What a treat. I hope everyone really enjoyed that. Nicholas, thank you so much for coming on, man. And you can go back to your panic drinking now. And,
oh, man. Y'all ain't going to want to see me in 2 hours, man. I promise you.
All right, dude. Thank you so much again. And we appreciate the time.
Right on, guys. We'll see you.
Who there, brother?
Oh, well, there's Jamie Big and there's Jamie Small. And
good stuff, that.
How good was that? I mean, that was brilliant. We had a terrific Andy Burks on last week, and now we've got the terrific Nicholas Johnson. I hope you all appreciate the diversity of entertainment that we're bringing you each week. Ceiling Cat says, this show is criminally underrated, ! We get Bengals news, beer recommendations, live music, and rhubarb life hacks. So,
it's true. Thanks go out to our fan.
Well, yes, our one fan, our one viewer out there. That is amazing. Right, as regular listeners, I mean, podcast mode, the regular viewers will know that we do like to show you the latest food releases and other bits of foodie nonsense. And we have some this week. Before we get to the really stupid stuff, let's get to the relatively all right stuff. And let's start with something that everybody likes. chocolate, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So holiday
No.
season is coming up. Autumn or the fall is my favorite season of the year, and that means lots of spiced things. Kit Kat pumpkin pie, interesting, says naturally and artificially flavored. I would put a sizable bet on that most of that is artificially flavored, I have to say. Are we saying a yay or a nay to that?
Oh, the difference between British people and Americans is that Americans think that pumpkin is edible, and it absolutely isn't. This will be an abomination. I'm putting good money on that being awful.
Okay, Pete, you
No, that's
fan
an
of
A
that?
from that's an A from me.
Okay, well, there we go. Let's see what else we've got in this week's box of delights, pantry of delights here. This might get your gander up a little bit better. We've got Whisper Gold, and it's a hazelnut flavour, an interesting twist and an old favourite there. What we say to that?
Yes, that's what we say. Yes.
Okay.
I'm broadly on board. Surely they can't mess that up. You know, people liked it. It'll be like a Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what they're going for.
There you go. That'll be lovely.
What else have we got in the pantry of delights this week? We have got again, I'm not sure about this. This is going to divide opinion. It's after eight, which for American viewers is a thin sliver of dark chocolate, which encases a mint flavored fondant, and you're designed. I think they try and market it as some sort of post-meal digestif, don't they? But it's actually just mint-flavored chocolate. But we're now into the realms of mojito and mint, so there's going to be a bit of lime in there, a bit more sugary. What do you think? The jury's out. My jury is out at the moment on this one.
Well, yesterday, sorry, Pete, you go.
No, I was going to say I've never been big on liqueur chocolate personally. Love after eights though. I saw these in my local supermarket, didn't buy them. Might be tempted to give them a go. These would fall into the category of got to try. At least got to try.
Yeah.
Unlike the pumpkin Kit Kat.
It might be one of those things, you know, when you go out to Christmas and just shovel all the chocolate into your shopping trolley. It might be just one to do that with and try it at least, I think.
When you were explaining this to our American viewers, I'm surprised you didn't fall into the famous Monty Python sketch of the wafer thin mint.
The wafer thin mint. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's get stupid now. You might recognize this gentleman. It is, of course, Bengal Jim Foster. And I just wanted to take a moment to talk about a Bloody Mary, but in America, it seems that is a pint. First of all, that looks to be like more than a pint of Bloody Mary, but then with some sliders, some shrimp, some olives, some wings, perhaps, I don't know, meatballs, sausage, feta, some sort of potato croquette. That is a meal, isn't it? Really, that's a meal for seven.
I have some advice for this place, Anduzzi's apparently. According to the glass, there are these things called plates. Yeah, there are these things called plates. They're really great. They're made of porcelain usually, though you can get them sort of made out of other things.
Right.
They're flat things. They're flat things that you can put food on.
Right,
and then it doesn't go all over the table, and you don't have to stick a rod through it and put it in a drink. This is, to me, nonsense. But you know, at least they're trying something.
I think Jim
it looks ridiculous.
Jim's facial expression says it all there, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, trying to identify. Also, the fun thing about this photograph is trying to identify the foodstuffs that are on skewers that are kind of placed inside the Bloody Mary there. But anyway, good old Jim. I think he's out in Pittsburgh today.
He is.
Now, following up from Jim's big glass of Bloody Mary is another one, and I'm reliably informed that this is what is it? Boone's Primetime Pub in Michigan, and that is a Bloody Mary as well. And I know there's some sort of rim job going on there. I'm not quite sure what the white stuff is. You know, kind of a thing. But then you've got a couple of sliders there. Looks like chicken. Looks like beef. Some monster onion rings. Some olives. And just everything. You wouldn't need to eat for a week.
The sauce will drip into it. The sauce will drip into it. I mean, it's a Bloody Mary, so it's awful to begin with. So maybe it just adds to the sort of rancid flavour of a Bloody Mary. But
maybe.
I think when Ceiling Cat said that the show was criminally underrated and summarised the first half of the show, he could come back and comment on the crockery advice that the show is now giving. It's
a show of two halves, this one.
Yes.
Whatever name 3. So bummed I didn't see this at the store this morning. I love mint Kit Kat. Now, mint Kit Kat is a winner.
Yes.
That is a winner.
Yes.
Danny Hawkins, I love pumpkin in a pie, but not in Kit Kat. No. Well, that's us told. Now then, we have one final food stuff to discuss this week, and naturally I can't find it on the bloody thing. So just talk amongst yourselves there. We are, of course, having we've got a game in Vegas later on in the year, haven't we? And obviously Vegas is notoriously the home to much excess, both in, everything, basically, really.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, and I think in this instance, it should be a case of whatever you eat in Vegas should stay in Vegas, really. So this is something called the Fat Baby.
Oh, boy. Oh.
And they are basically loaves of bread, hollowed out and kind of filled.
This is how Elvis died.
Well, that's right. Not with a fat baby, but
I think my response is simply why.
I think it's just to kind of I don't know, really. It's at the Amano restaurant. It's a hollowed out loaf of toasted bread that's stuffed with your choice of pasta.
Oh, wow. Double carb.
If you're trying to give up the carbs there, then I don't think that would be a good thing. No. I do have a video of it being made. If you want to have a quick look.
This is going to be.
I can feel my arteries closing as we speak.
Well, yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So let me just share some screens here. Oh, that's not working at all, is it? Bloody hell.
Oh, right. Oh, no.
I mean, I don't mind a bit of bread to mop stuff up with in...
Jamie's
about to... not that much bread.
Jamie's about to tell us about these things called bowls to put pasta and...
Again, I mean, that's another thing. The hollowed out loaf thing does work for some things. I mean, there's a thing called bunny bread, which was a South African curry in an emptied out loaf, basically. You don't have to do this. You know, you don't. Sure, you can put pasta in a bowl, and it's nicer. You have bread on the side, and you can dip the bread in.
Surely, the moment you start to eat it, it's all just going to come cascading out all over you.
I think that's the whole point. It's a messy job, Pete, and you know,
it looked like a fat burger.
$13, and I would hazard a guess that's about 1,300 calories. That's my guess.
Yes.
But I can share with you an exclusive now. We're hoping to get some from Amano on for our Las Vegas episode.
Oh, nice.
To cook for us. But
we'll big it up then.
Yeah, I'll send the Wikipedia article to Bowls.
Yes. Okay, we've got about 10 minutes left. It's about this time in the show where we welcome Adam on, because you have, even though there's 10 minutes left on this show, you've got about 40 minutes left to get your fantasy team tip top and ready to roll. And Adam, of course, comes on every week to tell us about the fantasy recommendations, any last minute pickups that you may want to try. While Adam is talking, think about your predictions. We want to hear your predictions for the game today. But in the meantime, here's Adam. Once I actually press play.
Good evening, Bengals fans. I am Adam at Touchdown Tips on Twitter. I'm back with week 3 of the waiver wire. Very much looking forward to the game tonight with the Steelers. Obviously, one of the ones that we look for every year. I think we've got a really good chance of winning this week. It's worrying that I'm very confident in this. It may well come back and bite me, but the injuries they've got, the way their offense has been playing, I think we should seriously be winning this game. We will see. Anyway, on to waivers. Quarterback, if you didn't pick up Teddy Bridgewater last week, then you still can this week. He's still under-rostered, and they're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who've given up a ton of points this year so far. It's another good matchup. They're double-digit favourites. If you're looking for a bit more of a high upside play, Matt Ryan apparently is only 20% rostered in leagues. He's played the Saints he's played the Bucks and the Eagles so far. They both have very good defensive lines who got to him. He put up some good points last week before throwing 2 late interceptions. The Giants won't be able to get that pressure on him. He's shown through the years that he's a very good quarterback. He should be able to put up some points. And Jared Goff for the Lions. They're playing the Ravens. They are going to be trailing. They're going to be throwing a lot. He's thrown 5 touchdowns in 2 games, averaging about 18 points a week. Not too bad. Running back. The one you want to pick up is Chuba Hubbard for the Carolina Panthers. It looks like McCaffrey's going to miss a few weeks with a hamstring injury. It won't help you this week, but for next week, he is going to get a lot of snaps. He's going to be the main man there. So he's one to look for. For this week, for this afternoon's games, Peyton Barber for the Raiders. I don't think Josh Jacobs plays, and Barber got most of the carries last week. He didn't do too much with them, but you're looking at carries and snap counts, and he's way up there. And then you're probably looking at the Jets running backs, Michael Carter or Ty Johnson. They're sharing snaps. It looks like Carter's going to get more of the passing work, and Tevin Coleman is ruled out for him, so he's probably a decent pickup if you can find him. If not, Ty Johnson's going to get some carries, and running back is so thin that that's the kind of stuff you're looking for. Wide receiver, obviously you're looking at Order Tate. You can't go past him this week. I personally don't think T. Higgins is going to play. That means Tate will come in as wide receiver 3. In theory, it means more for Chase and Boyd, but Tate will probably get a few receptions, and we know that he's highlight reels all the time. He's an incredibly good player, although obviously can't get separation. Scotty Miller for the Bucks is another one that you want to look at. Antonio Brown's out with COVID, so Scotty Miller probably comes in as a wide receiver 3. Their run game isn't very good, so they will be passing a lot. Tom Brady leads the league in touchdowns this year with 9. Braxton Berrios, you don't really want to be picking up Jets players, but if you're really struggling, he leads them in targets and receptions. They only throw a few yards down the field, and he's the man there. KJ Osborne is a decent one for the Vikings, though. He's the wide receiver 3 there. He's had 15 targets this year for them. That's more than, I think, as many as Justin Jefferson has. He's put up 170-odd yards, so he's one to look for if he's available. At tight end, they're not a great. You're looking at Jack Doyle for targets and for receptions. He will get a lot of them in this offense. The wide receiver core in Indy isn't very good. Carson Wentz is playing with somehow 2 sprained ankles and throws to the tight end quite a lot. Other than that, you're looking at Hunter Henry for the Patriots. Again, Mac Jones doesn't throw the ball far down the field. Hunter Henry should be a decent red zone threat if they get that close. And then the Cleveland tight ends. Last week, Jarvis Landry went out. He's missing this week. Odell Beckham's back, but he's not going to take the inside targets. They targeted the tight ends, I think, over 50% last week with Hooper and Njoku and Bryant. You're probably looking at Hooper there for the one you really want, but Njoku and Bryant are probably all right pickups if you're really struggling. Defenses, of course, you're looking at the Bengals playing this terrible, terrible Pittsburgh offense. They should be able to get home. Trey Hendrickson should be able to get some pressure up the middle with DJ Reader and the other guys. So I think they're a fairly decent call. They're a good one for DraftKings. They're really cheap on there. And, of course, Evan McPherson still hasn't missed a kick in the NFL. So if you're looking for a kicker, if you're still playing leagues that have kickers, take him. Boo day, Bengals fans. Let's stuff the Steelers.
Great stuff from Adam there. And I think I'm going to have to go onto my fantasy team to update some things there. Now, Danny Hawkins says, keep your rimming to yourself, young Mr. Hirons. And Bunny Shoe is the best eaten in Durban. Delicious. Durban as in South Africa? Danny?
Durban is in South Africa, is in bunny bread and bunny shoe. I assume it's a shoe bun with a kind of curry in it. Lovely
Danny,
stuff.
we need to see that, my friend. So perhaps we can hook up and we can get you on to the tailgate to experience this bunny shoe, this bunny bread firsthand. Peter Dadswell said, "Oh no, that's you, Pete. What are you doing in here?
No, it's still
inflating our numbers. Bloody hell!" Ceiling Cat says, "My heart says the Steelers, but my heart says a 2017 Bengals." Wow. Well, let's before we go round table, a couple of things. Who sent it in? Nick Parker has sent in this. This is how he's preparing for the game or going to be spending the game. He's got the beer. He started with beer and he's got the bacon flavored crisps. And then I assume if things go badly, he'll start hitting the honey liqueur.
Ooh.
Rich, smooth, mellow balance. Is that mead? Do you think that's mead?
No, I think it'll be something like sort of Jim Beam honey kind of idea.
Yeah.
You know, it'll drink.
It'll drink.
It'll
anything will drink. If we start to lose heavily, anything will drink, believe me.
Yes.
Bennett Carew says, I'd love a scrappy Bengals win, please. I think we all would, wouldn't we? I'm personally expecting a much more defensive game. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of 3 and outs potentially. Jamie, what's your prediction for today? I know it's
right. So
a little bit.
Yeah, so midweek in the predictions blog, I put a tie because there's always a Bengals tie somewhere in the season. I am willing to come off the fence now. I think TJ Watt being out is going to be a bit of a big deal, and I think we get into him and we come out with probably a 3 to 6 point win.
Pete?
Yeah, with again referencing the midweek predictions pod that we did. At that time, I went for exactly the same that the Ceiling Cat has just called, and I'm not prepared to change it. I see the Bengals sneaking at 20 points to 17, and Evan McPherson probably killing it in the last 20 seconds or so.
Well, I predicted a 16-14 win for the Steelers. But I'm going to flip that mother lover, and I'm going to go 16-14 Bengals. How about that?
There we go.
And I'm predicting a bit more of this later on.
Yes.
Yes.
No, well, who knows? I think it is actually a very even game to call, and I think, but we do have a chance. But my only worry is that they have the game plan to do it because they didn't last week. They were too slow to change. And when I say they, I think we all know who I mean. Yeah. Danny Hawkins says, I had no clue who will win today, but if we win, we'll beat the Jags. But if we lose, the short week will be punishing to the team's confidence. We might even lose to Trevor Lawrence revenge game versus Joe.
The Jags aren't beating us.
No.
The Jags aren't beating us at all.
No. Well,
no.
All right, gang. Thanks for joining me. It's I think we've had a jolly good show today. Many thanks to Nicholas Johnson. Thanks for all your interaction out there. Enjoy the game. We'll be back on Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen, 7:30 UK time, 2:30 in the United States of America, for obviously the Thursday night Ring of Honor game. That should be fun, shouldn't it? But until then, Jamie, thank you so much for coming on today.
All right, get into them. Fuck them off.
And same to you, Pete. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem. Who they?
So enjoy the game, guys. We'll see you on Thursday. Listen out for the podcast tomorrow. And many, many, many thanks to Nicholas Johnson. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll speak to you soon.